You had a heart attack at the age of 31.
I mean, I was waiting for my heart to stop. I was smoking a lot, very stressed at my company, and so I guess it was the perfect recipe for this to happen.
What were the changes that you brought in?
I was driven, inspired to do things, so I was starting to change step by step. Fear is a feeling that every human expect and feel during a high stress environment or situation. The problem is panic. Depression is when your mind is stuck in the past and your soul and body keep on carrying to the present moment at all times.
Allaoua Gaham, TEDx speaker, yoga and self-defense instructor, shares his transformative journey into mindfulness, overcoming fear, anxiety and depression, and mastering the mind through yoga and meditation.
My mantra is every inhale is a blessing, every exhale is a healing. So yoga is the unity of your soul, mind and body.
What is meditation now? Do you achieve mindfulness through meditation?
So meditation will be just a moment that you have for yourself.
I've been trying to control my breathing, but to tell you the truth, it is not easy. It is absolutely difficult to control your breathing.
Just sit with back straight, feet on the floor, lift your chest and just close your eyes.
So I sat down with Allaoua and had the most amazing conversation. The secret to Allaoua's story is that he had a heart attack at the age of 31. And 9 years down the line, he is still looking like 31 years of age. So I wanted to understand the secret behind his youth, why he's staying so young and how he's doing it all for my own sake and for your sake. I asked him very deep questions around the concepts of depression, anxiety, fear, and panic. He gave beautiful answers and helped me understand these concepts at a great depth. He also offered a number of techniques to help us resolve or better handle these concepts or problems in the future. Just make sure that you watch this episode until the end to get the maximum value out of this conversation. Before you do that, please make sure that you subscribe to our channel to help our cause and to help us bring you more content. Let's enjoy the conversation. Welcome, Allaoua, to the Diary of a Founder.
Thank you, Tariq. How are you?
Thank you so much for coming. Hope you're doing well.
I'm very good. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you so
we
much.
finally meet after many conversations.
Absolutely. Thank you
I'm
so much.
excited to share many ideas.
Thank you for joining once again. Now, you had a heart attack at the age of 31.
Mm-hmm.
Now you are 40, but you look like 30.
Thank you.
Now, what I want is that I don't want a heart
You
attack.
want my secret?
I do not want a heart attack, but I want to know the secrets. I am 45, nearly,
you look fit.
and I want to be looking like 35.
Okay.
So through this conversation, hopefully, we will have learned something.
Hopefully.
Well, thank you once again for joining me.
Of course.
So before we start the conversation, I want to know about these beads or malas, you call them.
Yes, everyone is asking me about this. So you see, I guess this has a very powerful power of attraction. Just by the fact, since I'm wearing them, everyone is asking me, what is it? Can you explain? So it's called Rudraksha. It's I like to call it a natural artifact or natural jewelry. It's quite precious, hard to find. I spent maybe 6 years to source a genuine place where to find them, and this one's coming from Nepal. I have one around my neck who belongs to my teachers, maybe more than 200 years old. And so it's hard to explain. It's linked to the Hinduism beliefs. Shiva was wearing them. For me, it helped me meditate, I would say, the main purpose. It also gives a connection with all my communities. I think I like the power of attraction of those beads, of those malas. It's very special.
They're very unique, by the way. I mean, there are not many people in Dubai who would wear them.
I haven't seen anyone so far. Yeah,
I've never seen anyone. So
I've seen people, but smaller one. This is 4, 5, and 6 mukis. Mukis are the number of line on it. And it's not very common.
Do you always keep them on, or
usually
it's just for the public appearance?
No, sometimes for public appearance, I watching my style. Maybe I add a little more, but this one for sure I always have it with me.
Okay.
Wear it every day. Yeah,
Okay.
kind of.
Okay.
Don't remember when I didn't wear it last time.
Well, they're very attractive to me. I mean, I really like them. Now, we'll talk about the heart attack story. And of course, a life-changing event at the age of 31 when you literally would have started your practical life anyway.
Almost died.
Tell us about that experience. I mean, I see that as a life-changing experience, but I want to hear this from you.
Yeah, it's definitely a life-changing experience. It's not properly a heart attack. It's a pre-heart attack. I mean, I was waiting for my heart to stop. Thanks God, he didn't stop. So that was, I guess, the bridge in between. So basically, I had a heart condition, arrhythmia. It started in my house. I called the emergency because my heart was in pain, couldn't feel my left arm very well. And the heartbeat was very high. So they got me to the hospital. I stayed like 6 days in ICU in observations. Under beta-blockant and aspirin, and they were actually waiting for my heart to decide if literally is going to explode or just stop. Because I was laying down, it was over 130, the pulse, like the beat per minute. So I remember every time I was just like try to stand out of the bed just to fix my pillow. The heart was going even more than that. Like I felt my heart will explode. So thanks God it didn't. I think I was lucky. I still don't know exactly the cause of that. I guess it's a mix. Because lifestyle will be the main thing. I was working out a lot and taking weird products, maybe protein mixed with creatine. I guess this was maybe one of the trigger. But main thing is lifestyle. So I was sleeping 2-3 hours per night, partying a lot, smoking a lot, very stressed at my company. And so I guess it was the perfect recipe for this to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know why it happened at this precise moment, but what I can tell you about is like I leveraged this to make a full setup, a full rebooting of myself, my body, my mind, my mental health, my emotional condition, and I translate it into action, into my own life.
Thank you, everyone, for your great support and comments on each of the episodes. We've been working really, really hard to bring you great guests and content. And it's only going to get better from here onwards. Your support means a lot to us. Do hit that subscribe button. Let's make it happen and make it count. I just want to go deeper into your mental condition. You mentioned that you were in the ICU for 6 days.
Almost, yeah.
And they were saying that your heart could explode any moment.
Technically, you're not supposed to maintain, the heart is not supposed to maintain this high rate for such a long time. So the medication that I was receiving was calming down the heart, but something wrong was happening with the heart. The heart was really stimulated, overstimulated.
What was going on in your head at the time?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because at this time, nothing much was going on. Just waiting to die eventually, or you just... funny enough, I was accepting the fact that I could die. You know? And I was alone, not married, no girlfriend. My family, of course, they were extremely worried, but they weren't friends. So I was alone in the hospital beds. Even some of my managers, employees, they come and visit me, but it was... you feel lonely and you're happy to be lonely.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
Because you feel you're not going to be a loss if you go. I mean, it's a bit selfish because, of course, my parents and it will be a drama. But my point is that you kind of feel like, if I die now, what's going to be left of me? Nothing, basically. You know what I mean? And I guess this is what makes the change.
Correct. That's what I was going to come to, yes.
That's the thing. And now I need to not build my life to accumulate pleasure. You know, this was what I thought happiness was, an accumulation of pleasure. But I should strive towards real purpose, happiness. And this is everything. I sold my company because what I was doing was meaningless at this time for me. This is the way I understood. I was only strive and driven by performance, by making money, by being the best. You know, when you coming from business schools, it's very competitive, so you always have to be the best. You know, so which is it's not bad. You know, it's It depends how you experience it. I was blind. It was only a one-way thinking. So I needed more way of thinking. I needed alternatives, you know?
So this is the point when you started thinking about life in a different way.
Yeah.
You survived, and you had a kind of a near-death experience, you would call it, because you were thinking, I guess, a lot of the time during those 6 days that it could be the end of it.
It's hard to explain.
Okay.
Because the very first day and the very first night, you feel that a little bit, you know, because you don't know what's going to happen. After you kind of get used to being in hospital, and you know, you're still alive at the Rewires. After the third day, you're just waiting for your heart either to to feel better so you can carry on your life, you know. So every phase has different feeling, but the questioning phase come after. Like,
correct,
how my life will be now. Even if I didn't want to make a change, even if I was considering, okay, I'm just going to do the same thing over and over again, like, because I was pretty successful and it had a good life, you know, for me. I was like, okay, now when can I jump back to my life the way it is?
Yeah.
But you wonder if now you have restrictions, if you can consider yourself almost like a disabilities, you know. Can I eat the same food as before? Can I go out? Can I swim? Can I do sport? So many questions come to your mind. So I was more worried about this. I loved my life before. I mean, I thought I loved my life before.
Yeah.
It was not making much sense, but it was really successful and really entertaining. So I was just obsessed, like, I want to have the same thing, the same joy. But then I understand that I'm here precisely because of my lifestyle.
So what were the changes that you brought in immediately after you got discharged from the hospital?
First, I decided to take few weeks, few months, even break. So I appoint some of my managers to run the company without me for a little while. I didn't want to have any connection. I didn't want to deal with any problem. I needed a break, really. So this was the main changes. And this break kind of allowed me to have perspective on things. You know? Let's say I made the change quick, but I understand why I did it later. Then that makes sense, you know. It's like I was driven, inspired to do things, so I was starting to change step by step. Forget the first main change, I stopped smoking. This very first day, I didn't smoke a cigarette since then. So I guess it was a very important change for the people who smokes and try to stop. You can understand how hard it is because it's part of your lifestyle. You wake up, you light a cigarette, breakfast cigarette, you know, break is cigarette. So you are driving your days along this, you know, poison basically. So I stopped. And I tried many times to stop before, I didn't succeed. This time I stopped. Maybe I was scared, or maybe I was just conscious about, like, there's absolutely nothing good will come out of it. So I just decided. So this is the first immediate change, right? Then step by step, I start adjusting my lifestyle. I slow down, very simply. I slow down the rhythm of my life.
Okay.
And the change that I did, that I understood later, was like looking at my life in terms of now, I'm a human being who explore his life journey with no expectations, with an open heart and an open mind, having no fear of failure because I cannot fail, because I don't expect anything. When before I thought I was successful, but I was actually full of failure because of my level of expectations. So you change the prism with what you see life. It's like you look at this cup. If you look from the top, it looks like a circle. But if you look from the side, it looks like a cylinder. If you look from one angle, it looks like a line, you know? So my life was the same, but the way I was looking at it was different. And I start understanding things and see angles that was not appearing to me until then.
So the heaviness of being successful, or the expectation of being successful, went away. So you didn't have any expectations as such. You just wanted to explore things, right?
Correct, but not just for work, for everything.
For everything. I think I want to talk about the TED Talk that you gave very recently.
Okay.
And you mentioned the example of that army sergeant drill and the concept of fear and panic. You want to explain that story here?
Yeah, I can explain. So it was one of my first training. The drill sergeant placed a bag on my head, and
Right here.
he was covering my eyes, like my full head was inside a bag.
I'm
Like-
sorry. So he placed a bag on your head,
Yeah.
and your eyes were
No,
covered.
the bag was empty. He's
Okay.
actually hide my head inside the
Okay,
bag. So
okay.
he blindfold my eyes.
Okay, with the bag.
completely with the bag. So
Okay.
even my breath was restricted. Everything. My ear, when you have a bag on your head, first you don't see, and you kind of start imagining things that happening around you. And then he told me, we're gonna surround you, me and the other drill surgeon, and we're gonna hit you. We're gonna push you, punch you, kick you.
Were you in a
physically
kind of a
it's-
dark room?
No, I was in a gymnasium. It was
Okay.
the first day of my training. So it's a self-defense training led
Okay.
by the Spetsnaz, which
Okay.
is Russian special forces. And they teach you Sistema,
Okay.
which is a traditional old martial art from Russia, from maybe the 10th centuries, like used by the Cossack. And the first day of the training, on my training was that, so I went there to expect to learn techniques, martial techniques. And they just tell me you need to accept to be beaten if you want to be able to fight. Because if every time you got scared by the anticipation of receiving hits, then you are vulnerable, and then the enemy will have access to your emotional.
True.
So, but I didn't expect that. Can you imagine someone promise you that you're gonna be beat up and you don't even see the hit coming? And in a nutshell, I was just covered, expecting to be
Beaten.
beaten, punched, bite, I don't know, all the worst thing. You just, that's funny, the relationship with time. Because every second during this time felt like an hour.
Wow.
The expectation of pain is actually greater than the pain itself,
Wow.
Your imagination is actually the only source of fears. So by imagining receiving a punch on your face that's going to cause a contusion and a pain, you actually start feeling it even if it didn't happen yet. Wow. So I stayed like this for about 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 4 or 5.
Just for 2-3 minutes
Just
only.
standing in middle of
With the expectation
gym,
of being hit
Yeah.
any moment.
and no one touched me.
Okay. Amazing.
And that was the worst because there's few things. The expectation of pain is greater than pain itself.
Yeah.
And then you almost disappointed not to have been beaten because you were expecting it. So this 5 minutes of my life, everything changed. It was a very intense, real, genuine self-observation. It's like you're looking at what are you made of.
Yeah.
And then you start analyzing the physical reaction of your body. You start sweating, you almost start crying, heartbeat is going very high, your breath is very short, any noise trigger, overstimulating reaction, your mind start inventing the worst scenarios,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
nothing happened.
The only thing happens that is the fear element, right?
Fear
The
element.
fear was killing you inside your head.
Inside the head, and funny enough, when they removed the bag off my head, I was literally traumatizing. I was like, what just happened? And few hours after, I was start physically feeling the pain on my body that my mind imagined.
Ah,
You know what I mean?
wow.
So to the point I almost started bruising from the imaginary punches that my mind believed it will receive.
Were they coming closer to your head or the body?
They're just surrounding me and not moving.
And they must have been creating the element of fear through talking to
Absolutely
you.
nothing. They were
Okay.
just standing. It was even worse.
So it was a mere expectation of being hit any moment. A real
Imagine-
expectation.
Exactly. Imagine
Right.
you standing here. Okay, you have a bag on your head. You don't see anything. You barely hear, and you have 4 people surrounding you, just standing,
Wow.
and telling you, "We're gonna beat the shit out of you like now, right now."
Yeah.
It's a journey. You travel into your fears. You meet all your trauma, all your fears,
Yeah.
and after that, nothing happened. And then they let you go, and then okay, we start training tomorrow. This day, it's the key day of the training. After, of course, you go into physical.
Of course. So what are the
Run
key
through and-
outcomes from this exercise?
You learn a lot. This day, you learn that your worst enemy is not your enemy; it's your own mind. Your mind play such a bad trick that whatever you kind of believe comes true. And that's important. So you kind of manifest your pain when you had zero rational reason to feel any pain. My body was sore next day. Like I really went through fight and no one touched me.
So what is fear essentially? Is it just imagination that goes in our head?
Fear, I think it's meant to protect you more than anything. It's like a mother, telling you don't touch the fire, otherwise you're gonna get burned. Without this, you probably burn yourself. Fear is not a problem. Fear is okay. I mean, we have fear every day. It's okay to deal with that. The problem is panic.
Yeah.
Panic is a really big problem. And panic will be the answer of fear to your body or by your body. So when fear starts taking over your decision, it's called panic. So what you want to do is to learn how not to panic. How always to keep the fear, okay? Deal with the fear.
So how would you know if you have a panic situation? How would
Body
you know?
reaction.
Body reaction?
Yeah.
What kind of body reaction we're talking about?
Do you ever panic in your life?
I don't recall, to be honest. I mean, there are fears, of course, all over. We all suffer from fear. But panic, I don't recall. Maybe my reaction might have been caused by the situation.
Did you scream at your kids because you were very upset and they would keep on annoying you in the car and saying, yeah, okay, calm down.
Yeah, that must have happened.
That's panic.
That is a panic situation,
Definitely,
right? Okay.
Because fear...
Isn't that anger?
Something.
So anger is panic, you're saying?
Anger it's a cause. See, in yoga we say anger is punishing yourself for the mistake of someone else. Punishing yourself, so you are the one suffering for the mistake of someone else. In this example, the kids screaming in the car. So they do something, they're screaming, but you are still the one getting angry, and So it's a fine line. It's different emotions, but they lead to panic. Panic, it's mean when your cognitive brain start losing it, and you will your next decision, your next action will be controlled by your
situation.
Reptilian brain, your surviving
brain.
See,
Yeah.
so when you lose it, basically. I think we panic every day a little bit. Some visible state of panic can be longer when anger is there as well. When fear is the worst thing. If I don't know, if you feel you're driving and there is a car coming in front of you very fast, you see yourself dying because you can imagine the impact. And at the last moment the car turns, you will be in such a fear. If you go out at this precise moment out of the car, your heartbeat will be very high. You're gonna start having a lot of adrenaline. Your palm will be sweaty. Maybe you'll cry. Maybe you'll start feeling this is panic. Yeah. So there's nothing good that can come out of these states. Probably if you meet the person who did that to you, you wanted to go in a physical fight. You want to punish the person for provoking this deep losing of control into your body. So fear is not the problem. Fear will warn you. It's your reaction towards your fear that will determine if you can control yourself or if you lose it completely.
So when you lose control, you're in a panic situation. In other words.
Yeah.
Thank you for the explanation.
Can be very short. Yeah. Screaming, it's panic.
Yeah. What is stress then? What is stress, depression, anxiety? I mean, we're trying to understand concepts here now.
Yeah, that's concept. Stress, it's hard also to explain. Let's try to explain depression and anxiety, which it may be a little more clear. In yoga, we believe that the present moment, it's the only place where you can find peace and serenity. All the religion, all the beliefs, even science kind of agree that any human being is composed with three clear entities, which is the body, the soul, and the mind. So the soul gets incarnated inside the body. So they stick together until the body dies. Then the soul will move out of the body. For some people, it will go to paradise. Some people will reincarnate it into another body. Some people, the soul will go to universe. So this has to do with beliefs, basically. But until the soul leaves the body, everyone kind of agree that it's stuck inside.
Yeah.
Then the mind, it's your brain, basically. The mind, it's quite powerful. It can define times. The body follow times. Every second, your body is aging and carry on to the timeline. the soul is stuck inside the body, so the soul has no other option but to follow the body. But the mind can decide to remember the past, imagine the future. This is where depression and anxiety comes. If your mind gets stuck into an event that happened in the past, you will start developing regrets. I should have done this. I should have dealt with this in different way. I could have done, like all this form when you express regrets and you observe that the regret that you have cannot change because the situation is past. So now the observation of the fact that you're powerless of changing the course of what's happened will develop sadness. So you will get sad. And an extended period of sadness will lead to depression. So basically, depression is when your mind is stuck in the past and your soul and body keep on carrying to the present moment at all times. So the bigger is the discrepancy here, the distance, the deeper is your depression. So depression, it's a very deep stage of sadness, usually provoked by regrets, right? This is past. Now, future, it will be anxiety. So your mind can also anticipate on things that didn't happen. Like me, when they promised me to beat me up and they didn't, I felt immediate anxiety because I was in the uncertitude. So everyone experienced that, especially entrepreneurs. How I'm going to pay the employees, how I'm going to pay my bill, how I'm going to boost the sales. We're always stressed into a very permanent need of performance, because we have responsibilities. So anytime you're going to think about how I'm going to do that and this will happen, and the brain will be kind of always go for the worst case scenario. We never think like, it's okay, tomorrow I'm going to be billionaire anyway, tomorrow I'm going to be so healthy and so successful. We always kind of think like, I might get sick, I might lose it, So it's just how the brain will go. It will always go to the worst case scenarios. So uncertitude will trigger fears of the future. This is anxiety. The more you're going to anticipate on something, the more fear you're going to generate, the more anxiety you'll be. So depression and anxiety are clearly two stages of mind positioning on the time frame.
Going back and forth, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yoga means unity in Sanskrit. Very simple to understand. Yoga, unity of your mind inside the body along with your soul.
Yeah.
How you achieve that? Prayer for Muslims or Christians, meditations, yoga, anything that will captivate the attention of your mind right here, right now. You will go away from, depression and stay away from anxiety. But it's hard because every time, even if you're in present moment now, maybe in the next 5 seconds, your mind again will go back to the past.
Correct.
So that's why meditation, it's very important tools to reset.
Yeah. So we've talked about fear, panic, anxiety, depression, stress. All these are mental conditions in one way or the other. Some are related to the past. Depression is about the past. Anxiety is about the future. Fear is about the future. And being in stress is about present, I guess. Present or future.
Stress will be more a reaction towards that.
Okay.
How your body and how your mind react towards this. So you have some people, they will fear, but they will not be stressed.
Okay.
You see, the fear will not take over.
Yeah.
There's people who actually have such a high level of stress, then they will enter into panic quite often and quite easily.
Yeah. So,
I would say like stress is more like a state of being.
Yeah.
Like it's more has to do with your body.
Yeah.
Where the other is more like a state of mind, So your mind will be somewhere and then your body will react according to this.
Pretty clear, I think. All of these concepts. Thank you for explaining. Now,
Pleasure.
yoga is the answer to all of these
Not
issues.
to all, but let's say it will help you having perspective on those issues, definitely. Because one of these changes benefit is like, I met my wife not long ago after. I guess I was ready to meet someone. And my wife was practicing yoga since 10 years. And she told me, you should try because, after what you had, maybe... See, when you have this type of experience, you don't want to return to the gym or, you still always, every time your heartbeat start going a bit higher than usual, it throw you back into the hospital bed. What, again? So I had the ghosts of this, high heartbeat coming. So I started the yoga really to explore another type of fitness, basically.
You have been practicing yoga for a
Mhm.
long time now. How many years?
9 years.
9 years. Now, how do you differentiate yourself as an expert yoga master and having practiced yoga for over a number of years? How do you differentiate yourself from others? Like, I mean, layman like myself, I don't practice yoga. I guess you would be in a better position to handle all these situations compared to me.
I will not compare myself to you or to anyone else. I will compare myself to how I used to be before yoga.
Okay.
And I would say now I am more connected with my feelings, would give me the opportunity to control them easier. I think I can see things with more clarity. So I don't see things the way I wish it is. I see things the way it is. So in yoga, we speak about third eye. So you see when your eyes are closed. So you don't see with your eyes, you see with your third eye. In the, let's say, in the anatomical approach will be more waking your pineal glands to have a bit higher level of consciousness. There is ignorance, there is knowledge, and there is consciousness. Ignorance, you don't know. Knowledge, you learn, but still you don't practice. Consciousness, you experience it. So I think I went from knowledge to mindfulness, to consciousness. I'm definitely more conscious. That means I eat more consciously, I walk more, I do things, I have a purpose or I find purpose. When I don't understand something, I don't do it. So it's a lot of things on a daily life. But once again, in physical life, I feel younger now that I was,
Look,
I guess,
30.
when I was 30, definitely. I feel strong, I feel more calm. There is something very important, is the idea of surrendering, the abnegation, you know. You have it also in Islam. I know you're Muslim. I'm Muslim too. So
Yeah.
we have this thing when we surrender to the will of God and our destiny, the mektub, you know. So this is something that yoga helps you apply, actually. So everything happened for a reason. You don't really need to understand why.
Yeah.
Either you waste your time understanding why me, why now. Either you save your time and then you just accept it and move on. I guess this is the main thing now. So things happening to me now, I just deal with it faster and with no trauma. And now more positive thing is happening to me now than ever. Because I also believe that my state of mind welcome abundance. So some people call this the manifestation rule. It's a big topic, especially now. I know there is some expert that try to explain how to manifest.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a particular technique. I guess it's a state of mind. If you are not ready to receive, you won't see the opportunities. You have opportunity every day.
Correct.
To meet people, to learn something, to develop
Correct.
yourself, you know. If you stuck into a depression stage or anxiety or in your routine that doesn't bring you happiness and content and you don't find joy, you will not see any opportunities.
Yeah.
So if you just take a bit of a distance with the reality and you accept things the way it is, you will see a lot of things that
A lot of
can-
opportunity. Since you've started talking about manifestation, I think it's better that we clarify the concepts of yoga, meditation, manifestation, and prayer. These are the concepts that we keep hearing, and I think it's better that you clarify that for
All
us.
right, I'll try my best because it's big concept. So basically, yoga, it's an ancestral practice, maybe coming from the Vedas, so maybe 7,000 years before the Christ. You know, so it's like 3,000 years older than the pyramids and Egyptians. It's very, very old. Let's say there's no real founder of yoga, but Patanjali, it's one of the main guru because he wrote the sutras. We give, see, back in the days, it's very hard to know who wrote what, but let's say we gave the paternity of the sutra to Patanjali, and the sutra is one of the main core of the yoga way of life and way of belief, where you want to actually do things that develop yourself and that connect you with everything. So yoga, as I said before, is unity. So it's the unity of your soul, mind, and body, and the unity of yourself in a universe, interacting with other beings, interacting with nature. So it's really a broad
Concept, a practice.
Yeah.
You'd call it a practice, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's very hard to describe. It's beyond even religion. It's beyond beliefs. It's something that can have an impact on all aspects of life. I choose to pick what is relevant for me from yoga, which is the physical practice and the mental health and emotional aspect of it through meditations. So this is the two tool. Let's put it this way for people who are not into yoga that I choose to. So the physical practice, vinyasa practice, yoga practice, Surya Namaskara, sun salutation, to make sure that the body moves and to make sure that all the blood is moving through your brain and muscles, which is the exact same thing for Muslim. I'm writing a book now, making the parallel between yoga and Islam, and it's pretty interesting. Like so many bridges. Can give you a few. For example, you pray. So Muslim, we pray on the carpet. Basically. You do yoga on a mat. So there's the idea of having a sanctuary, so you can focus and taking you away from the reality. So in Islam, you connect with Allah. In yoga, you connect with yourself and universe. So you have the same idea. No?
True.
The physical. So I don't know if you wonder, as Muslim, why Islam is the only religion when you actually do gymnastic every time you pray.
Yeah.
See, the other religion doesn't have this idea of standing up, bending, lifting, going down on the knees, head down. So pineal gland coming on the floor, lifting up. So there's an idea behind this of moving the blood flow, making sure that your organ receive the right amount of blood every day, so they can optimize the functionality. You do it 5 times per day for a little short time. If you squeeze it together, it's almost like a 45-minute practice of sun salutation. The sutras also, it's the laws is like the surats, you know. There's so many bridges, not just with Islam, with pretty much
it's a common
religions.
I believe this concept can be connected with many other religions as well. I mean, within Islam there is Sufism.
Yes, of course.
There are whirling Sufis. They sort of go around, and that is kind of a practice as well. I mean, the ultimate objective, to my understanding, is the mindfulness. Just connecting yourself with the Almighty or with the higher, with the divine, I guess, right?
Like ultimately, everyone who believes, we call religious people the believers because they make a bet, basically. You don't need proof to believe.
Yeah.
Because either you feel it in your heart, either you find a connection. So any practice that can reinforce the mind, the body, I think is good to take.
Great.
See?
So just coming back to the difference between yoga, I think you've drawn great parallels, just comparing the practice with the religious practice in Islam as well, and the yoga, the origins of yoga in Hinduism. Ultimately, it's
Connected.
Connecting the dots, essentially.
It's connecting and it's connected.
Absolutely.
I like to see just one day. I like to see the bridge between everything, everyone, every concept, rather than look at the gap.
Correct.
I think it's easy to look at the gap.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's easy to look at the difference, but it takes a more intellectual effort, which is knowledge, understanding, and comprehension to bring people together. So anything that can bring people together, I think it's extremely important, especially now that we are almost 9 billion and growing. Yeah. So we have to understand that we are all the same, and beliefs might be just the slight difference, the way we look at things. But the core, 90% of who we are, of our practice, it's common.
Great. Now, what is meditation? Now, in terms of yoga, meditation to me is just part of the practice, right?
I'll tell you my understanding of meditation. It might be different from some other people. I would say meditation is the art of doing nothing. One of the objectives of yoga is to achieve stillness, which is probably one of the most difficult challenge for any human being, to stay still and to do nothing, knowing that the mind, once again, some people consider the mind as a young monkey, overstimulated by anything, any light, any smell, any ideas, internally or externally. And this is taking you away from finding the unity of your soul, mind, and body. So meditation will be just a moment that you have for yourself when you don't do anything else than observing your breath, understanding your condition as a human, and connecting with whatever comes to you. It can be the ground, the sky, What's good with meditation? Let's look at the benefits. It's just slow down your life pace. It gives you perspective. It reinforces your mental strengths, really. And you may find answers. It's basically just maybe looking for answers, but without looking.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's pretty clear now. What is mindfulness?
Mindfulness has to do with consciousness. It's doing things for what they are. And it's directly linked to the present moment. Now you're drinking water or coffee. If you do it mindfully, you're telling to your brain, now I am drinking this coffee. I'm taking this coffee for what it is. This coffee will have this benefit on my body, so I accept this benefit. Now it's digging inside all the everyday things that we do to the point that we start increasing the benefit of it and understanding more. So it has to do with more understanding. When you do something, when you're driving your car and your hand is on your phone and you're thinking of how many emails do you have to answer while driving, this is not mindfulness. You are splitting your attention. When you're able to focus and maintain your attention on one thing, this is mindfulness. And this is really hard. It's getting harder with all the new technology.
Do you achieve mindfulness through meditation?
You can achieve mindfulness through meditation. You can achieve mindfulness through a mindset. If you decide today to be mindful, you will take this with you all the time. You will focus on what you're doing. Once again, everything, yoga, mindfulness, meditation, manifestation, everything has to do with the present moment.
Yeah.
It's like bringing the essence of enjoying every single breath.
Yes.
My mantra, my motto is every inhale is a blessing, every exhale is a healing.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. Every inhale is a blessing because if you breathe, that means you are alive. So whatever you're going through, it's okay. You are alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So showing gratefulness, be grateful to life, to God, to... I have a lot of Muslim students and they turn this into every inhale, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of acknowledging that I'm here,
It's a
I'm
blessing.
alive, it's a blessing. In a few years, I'm not going to be here anymore. So, and then every exhale is a healing.
Yeah.
Because along with the air, you will be able to let go stress, physical stress, fears, anxiety, anger, guilt, sadness, all these negative emotions that fill up your body and that create tension inside your body. For the sake of making space inside your body, physically, on your fascia, for all the positive emotion, love, empathy, compassion, greatness, happiness. So it's better to fill yourself with this than fill yourself with the one I mentioned before. And this has to do with the present moment. By extension, meditation helps you achieving that.
Yeah.
Mindfulness is a state of consciousness that also emphasizes this, help you make this stronger. Yoga, prior, any physical activities that allowed your mind to focus on what you're doing now, it's also one of the tools that help you grow, achieving your purpose and developing yourself.
So we planned this podcast, I think, about a couple of weeks ago. So ever since then, because I knew that I was going to talk to you about this practice, I've been trying to, control my breathing.
Okay.
But to tell you the truth,
not easy.
It is not easy. It is absolutely difficult, very, very hard to control your breathing. I mean, I've been able to do it a couple of times during this 2 weeks time period. But, whenever I've tried in, various situations, like, I'm in the office and I'm occupied with all kind of work, all kind of stress, maybe in some situations where I have anxiety, those are the very situations when it becomes even harder to control your breathing.
This is what you need the most.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Absolutely.
Let's do it now. You'll see.
Yeah.
It's like everything you need to learn.
Yeah.
And when you learn, you need to practice, and then you master it. It's like any activity. So just sit with back straight, feet on the floor. And you can also try, you'll see, maybe 30 seconds. Hands on your knees, back straight, lift your chest, and just close your eyes. And just stay there.
Breathe in, breathe out.
Just for now, stay there. I need you to start feeling where's your hands, your knees, where's your shoulders, where's your spine, where's your neck. And very slowly, I need you to bring your attention, without modifying anything, to your breathing. Just observe your breath. Connect with your lungs and with your nose. Feel the air going inside your nostril, feeling your lungs, and feel now the air going out of your lungs through the nostril. And I want you to repeat and open your eyes gently.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Just tell me how you feel now.
I feel calm.
How long did it take? 30 seconds?
Maybe a minute, 30 seconds to a minute.
Minute
Yeah,
maximum.
beautiful. I think this is an amazing experience.
See how simple it is. It's accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
You can do it anytime.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah, this
Need
is
to pay
where
anything.
absolutely I think we can all do this. And the problem is that we all know, for example, smoking is injurious to our health. We all know, wasting time on mobile is bad, but we all do that. And similarly, we all know that breathing is an excellent technique, like you have explained now in a certain methodological way. It's an excellent technique to be present, be in the present, but we're not able to do it. This is the biggest problem.
Yeah, but what stops you from doing it? That's the question, That's why I'm here. That's why yoga teacher are here. Because it's like everything, you learn how to write, Now you can write and read,
Yeah.
The very first time when you were
Getting
kids,
used to, I think, something or developing the habit is the most difficult part.
Before the habit, you need to learn. I like to put this example of writing. I'm teaching my kids how to write now, and this is what they learn in school. It's very hard. They go letter by letter. First, you have to recognize the letter. So someone will tell you, this is an A, this is a B, this is a C. Then you have to remember that.
Yeah.
Phase one.
Yeah.
And after, you have to put letter together to understand that letter alone, they have a sound, but together they make another sound. Then you have to remember that. Then you have to recognize it. So the journey of reading for kids is really, really hard. But still, now, as a grown-up people, we can read anything very quick. We just look at something, we know exactly the letter. Something, it has to do with, first, you learn, second, you practice.
Yeah.
If you don't learn, or if you learn the wrong way, or if you don't practice, you'll forget. And then you will forget how to read. If you stop reading for really few years, I'm sure you're going to lose it. You're going to kind of be, maybe not lose it, but you're going to be very slow. You're going to need to focus more, try to, it's not going to be like now you read, tack, 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 tack,
You've given a beautiful example of a child learning to read or write. It's a beautiful example. It applies to us as well during our adult lives. If there's one tip out of this breathing exercise that you'd like to give to our audience, which they can adopt on a daily basis, what is that? Just do this, exactly.
I mean, try by doing what we did. I mean, sit with back straight at any time of the day, anywhere. Close your eyes. It's important to close your eyes. When you close your eyes, you open your third eye. That means you don't see what's outside. You do an introspection. So you can look at what's happening inside your body. You can hear the sound of your heartbeats. Dudum, dudum, dudum. This gives you the rhythm of your life. It's a music. It's a vibration. It's a frequency. So if you don't listen to your heart, you don't know what's your frequency. Then you observe how you stay alive. Because if you stop breathing, you die. Maybe if you don't breathe for a minute or so, you will die. Your life is over.
Yeah.
So we're talking about one of the most, if not the most important body function.
Yeah.
Right? If you breathe better, you live better.
Yeah.
It's very easy to understand when you put it like this. You don't need to focus on your breath. When you sleep, you're still breathing, Yeah. So breathing is an automatic function. But still you can decide when you take over.
Yeah.
So this is what you're doing now. You're taking over. You decide, I'm going to be mindful during my meditation, how I inhale, how I exhale. I'm going to choose the speed, the length, the air capacity. The more you exhale, the more you relax. When you're going to your bed after a long day, long trip, what do you do when you lay down? Ah.
Yeah.
Why?
You want to relax, I guess. Yeah.
Is it hard to understand?
It's very easy to understand, very hard to
We do
practice.
it every day. Yeah, we do it every day. So you have to highlight it. Once you understand that it's inside you, then you have to practice it.
What is this one trigger that you could potentially apply in a situation where you are extremely stressed, and that is the very moment that you'd potentially find this practice to be the hardest to adopt?
Things that I've encountered or that I've been exposed to, it's physical fighting. When you fight in the street, for example. I live in Paris, so sometimes Paris it's quite dangerous, but sometimes people want to rob you, and this is extremely, like the physical confrontation or the promise of physical confrontation, it's very hard to handle. You know, you have like the fight or flight. So your body is ready to run away or to fight, basically.
Yeah.
And even if you don't fight after the argument, you still feel this one and the handstand.
Yeah.
Handstand, when you stand on your hand, these two situations, you cannot lie.
Yeah.
When you fight, even if you've been training all your life, jiu-jitsu and kickboxing, and you have 3 black belts in your wardrobe, when someone is attacking you, that's the reality. You have to deal with this attack right here, right now. Even if you feel like you're tired, it's now. You cannot lie to anyone. You cannot lie to yourself, right? Same thing with handstand. Either you balance on your hand, either you don't. So falling, it's an immediate punishment if you don't find the balance or the serenity to balance. So in these two very high intensity situation, the tips that you have first is to keep breathing. The fear of falling
is the biggest fear, right?
or the fear of physical hit, physical contact is the two biggest reptilian fear for any human.
Yeah.
And the first reaction of that would be to stop breathing.
Yeah.
You stop breathing. You hold your breath.
Wow. That's true, actually.
You see? So if someone hits you when you're full of air, you will have damage in your body.
Yeah.
Because your lungs are exposed, your rib cage is open.
Yeah.
If you fall when you're full of air, you may break a rib or hurt yourself.
Yeah.
The first thing you learn when you do ice skating or any type of high-speed activities, when you learn how to fall, you learn to fall empty.
Yeah.
So you have to excel when you fall. To excel, you have to keep breathing, you know.
Yeah.
Now, look, very easy to understand. You stop breathing, no more oxygen in your brain, no clarity, panic takes over, you are a prey. You keep breathing, you keep the same saturation of oxygen on your brain, you can control your adrenaline and you can see what's happening and you can take decision.
Yeah.
So you can use adrenaline for a good purpose rather than letting
it take it over you. Yeah.
Yes. Hormones explode inside your body and then make you do stupid stuff. So
makes all the sense.
In a nutshell, just keep breathing.
Yeah.
Someone is attacking you, just breathe.
Yeah.
You're falling, let it fall. You understand?
Yeah.
This is the thing that you have. If you learn that and if you can apply it,
beautiful.
It's going to be very hard to put you out of your comfort
We'll
zone.
just thank you so much. We'll talk about your book very briefly, and then after that, I have one more topic to cover. We'll spend a few minutes on that. You have written a book called Guru, and you have a co-author. Do you want to explain what you've covered in the book?
Yeah. The title is interesting already. Guru. A lot of people know this word, but we don't understand what it means. Gu in Sanskrit means the darkness. And Ru means the light. So a guru is someone that takes you from the darkness to the light. Your parents, your teacher at school, your mentor, whoever is here to enlighten you with knowledge is your guru. So I believe the guru of many people, we don't even know. And we have a lot of gurus. So I don't take the word guru as a traditional guru, like he's my master, I have to follow, but more like we are all gurus somehow. So that's why I wanted this book to be named this way. And yeah, the book it's a conversation, a tete-a-tete, a rote transcription of a conversation that I had with my co-writer Ragda, dealing with 10 topics, such as grief and loss, happiness, fatherhood, dharma, purpose, just bring my point of view as what I was when I wrote the book, because I wrote the book like now 4 years ago. So I was a yogi in acquisition of more knowledge. Maybe now if I wrote the book, things will be a little bit different because I have maybe a deeper perspective on things, and this is what is interesting. The book is also a testimony, of what was the change, my point of view on this topic before yoga, during yoga. Maybe I'll make another one now after yoga somehow, after 10 years of practice. Yeah. So yeah, it's an humble book, but it might enlighten and give some answers to people. Yeah. Very genuinely, because it was the questioning that I've been through myself, and my co-author as well have been through as well. So it's really, like listening to a podcast, but correct. Reading a book.
It's basically a conversation and very easy. It's a podcast. To follow. Yeah, absolutely. Talking about books.
Yes.
So I'll connect the dots here. So this phone that I have here for the audience, this is a smartphone. I'll trace the origins of a smartphone to yoga. No, I'm a big fan of Apple, although I don't use Apple as a phone.
Okay.
Now, Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, he created iPhone, of course. If you read his biography, and it's a public knowledge as well, that he used to read this book called Autobiography of a Yogi by Yogananda. Paramahansa Yogananda. So he read this book every year during his life, after his trip to India, which was, I guess, during his teen years. So every year, literally. So it had a great influence on him in terms of bringing the simplicity to technology. The reason we see one screen and everything in it is because of the simplicity that he brought to the table. He connected science with humanities. And the concept of iPhone was created out of the learning outcomes and the intuition and what have you he had as a result of his learning outcomes from the book. Of course, there would be other influences as well, but I connect the dots there to between yoga and the iPhone, and Samsung was a copy anyway. Now, so we have this beautiful product, and we see this as a distraction as well in our lives. It's a funny combination or an analysis. I mean, a phone is the biggest distraction in our lives at the moment.
It is.
And we were talking just before the podcast. You had mentioned that it's very hard to focus on anything if you have a phone around. Do you want to explain a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I can develop a few ideas on that. I guess the phones are stealing some meditative time during the day that we used to have before the phone. Just like simple, like, just walking in a park and sitting on a bench and looking at the birds, listening to the life, the people. I don't think we do that so much anymore. We rather just sit and look at our phones,
Yeah.
It's a great tool because it allowed us to do so much more things now than 10 years ago, than 20 years ago, than 30 years ago. But as every tool, it needs to be treated, I guess, with some balance, not for this to become toxic and having a negative impact in our life, but for something that will bring value to our day and ease our daily life, but without corrupting our mind and stealing away some time that we should have maybe with our kids or with our partners or with our friends. And so I really encourage everyone to have some free time moment during the day, which I do. And it's sad because even as a yogi, of course, when I'm practicing meditation or yoga, I'm not using my phone, but still my phone is around. You see, I still put it into the algorithm, into the equation, So I have to now leave my phone in the room when I go out, when I go to the bathroom. Very simple. When is the last time you've been to the bathroom without your phone? It's
Very
hard to
rare,
remember.
very rare.
And when is the last time you saw someone going to the bathroom? Of course, there's some people who do. I know my wife, for example. I really admire her somehow for that, because she doesn't use her phone that much, you know. And even she gets some criticism from friends, like, we send you a WhatsApp message yesterday or this morning. How come you didn't see? So I haven't touched my phone yet, you know.
Yeah,
And this sounds abnormal.
yeah,
Remember, back in the days when we were receiving a message, we could wait. Okay, just go back to the letters.
yeah,
What was before? You write a letter to your friend. Letter takes 3-4 days to come.
Yeah.
Your friend takes 1 day to read it, another day or two to reply. I mean, communication was like 1 week to 2 weeks. Now it's by the second. So you feel like you are the slave of the people who send you a message. Because if you don't look at the message in the next few seconds, you sending a message like, I don't care, or I will keep this for later. So it's a kind of slavery somehow. You know what I mean? So we all holding on to everyone.
It's a chain of expectation.
It's a chain of blaming,
Yeah,
expectation.
absolutely.
Which is starting to be a bit toxic, I would say.
Yeah.
So I really encourage everyone to stay away from that, not take personally if someone didn't reply, you know, and make sure that your people around you understand that maybe you're moving towards this vision of reducing. See, even the constructors, the manufacturers, iPhone, Samsung, they even give you data on how many hours you use your phone. Yeah, and it's pretty scary. You use your phone like 6 hours.
Absolutely, you can control your social media time as well. But I worry about the coming generation. They have iPads, phones from the very early age, like 2-3 years, maybe even earlier than that. You know, they are glued to their iPhones or their iPads. Even in school, they have to do their homework, or you know, in school they have to study on the laptop or iPad and do the homework on iPad.
Yeah.
So I mean, what do you see in the coming years?
I evolve. My opinion evolve on this matter. You see, I have 2 boys, 5 and 3, and I don't want them to have phones and iPhones and iPad, and I would say it's like everything. If you do things with a purpose, you understand what you're doing, you can put limitation. The problem is excess. So it's still the way that the generation and humanity is moving towards, like robots, AI, VA, like all these tools that now will be more and more integrated fully to our life. Our generation, we saw the switch, but the generation of our kids will definitely born into the AI and born into the robotization. And so I don't think it's something necessarily good or bad. I guess it's just something that have to balance with, the old way of doing things. That mean going outside and playing with your friends, maybe value that.
Yeah.
Rather than spending too much time on a video game. Doesn't mean that you should not spend time in video games. Doesn't mean that you should spend your time outside doing. It's just there's a quote in Latin that I like very much, and it's a very old quote. So maybe back in the days they saw this coming a lot. It says, "In medio state virtus," which is the virtue stands in the middle. Everything has to be reasonable.
Yeah.
Everything needs to find balance. Has to be calculated mindfully. That means you have to know what you're doing, and you have to put a maximum time of doing something, so you don't slide into excess. It's true with food. You can eat little of sugar, but don't eat only sugar.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know what's gonna happen: diabetes, or heart issues and weight issues and skin issues. It's only issues. If you eat too much sugar, whatever come out, it's come with a prefix issues. No one tell you it's great, have sugar, your life will be amazing. No, it's a pleasure. Like every pleasure, it needs to be rare. Like if a pleasure is not rare, it's not a pleasure. It becomes a habit, and then it becomes dangerous. Same thing with iPhones. Same thing with iPads. Same thing with tablets. Same thing with smartphone or whatever. So because the kids, they don't have this experience or wisdom yet to not get addicted to something, either sugar, either TV, either smartphones. It's the role. It's just one more duty for the parents to teach them how to make distance with this.
Yeah.
So as long as you make distance with things and you're not addicted, when you're addicted, that means there's no distance between reality and your behaviors.
Then it's an addiction like smoking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it needs to have distance. If you put distance with things and variety of things in your life, not just one way, I think, honestly, I'm not very worried for the coming generation. I used to, but I'm not very worried. I guess it's a natural evolution who needs to be accepted but needs to be monitorized, especially for kids and for ourselves.
Yeah.
Your kids will always do what you do, not what you tell them. So if you tell them, don't put your phone, and they see you all day scrolling down.
It's copying all the time.
Of course. And TikTok and Instagram, the work of those people, it's like to make you addicted. So of course you feel very interesting topic. Now the AI, now we're talking about health. I'm going to take my phone now. I'm going to have a reel speaking about health. I'm going to scroll down. It will speak about this. And see, everything is made for us to become a better customer, so to spend more money, so to drive our attention towards the center of interest that we have, so we can trigger a purchasing action.
Yeah.
So that's the danger of all this technology, so-called
Absolutely.
technology. So as long as you aware of that, so you're mindful the way you use it, and you still keep some free time for meditation, for walking outside, for spending time with people with no phones, I think you're okay.
Beautiful. I think that's a wonderful piece
If not,
advice.
I think you're in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. Access of technology could put you in that situation, of course.
Excess of anything.
Yeah.
Excess of what is the best thing in life? If you fall into excess, it will become negative.
Yeah.
So I love strawberries.
Yeah.
If I eat only strawberries, I'm going to be sick. It's everything.
Yeah.
Excess, it's like panic.
Yeah.
You have to stay away from panic. You have to stay away from excess. Really.
Thank you.
All matters.
So what is one actionable piece of advice that you'd like to give to our audience today? Very easy to implement.
There's few things I like to share with people. Very easy things. So this breathing exercise, which is not even an exercise, the problem with breathing and meditation, it sounds out of reach. It sounds like you need to practice to understand. You breathe every day, guys. So as long as you sit focusing on your breath just for a few minutes, you're already meditative. So this is extremely easy to access. Don't even maybe try, not at the early stage, to download apps to teach you how to meditate, or try to. The very first stage of meditation, it's doing nothing. So if you sit for 1 minute or 2 minutes just focusing on your breath, boom, you're meditating, and you will feel the immediate benefit of that. Like you felt 1 minute, you feel more calm, more oxygen in your brain.
Yeah.
You don't think about all the issues that you have to solve because you focus on your breath. So this is number one. Number two, try to stay away from anger. Anger, I think, is growing, especially now with the traffic and with all this. Like, we live in Dubai since a long time. Like every megalopole is get busier and busier and busier.
Yeah.
So we are more facing, this time inside the car. So we're more sensitive to road rage. I can see now road rage that I haven't seen before.
It's going crazy.
It's going a bit crazy. So it's up to us to understand that. So I repeat this statement from yoga. Anger is punishing yourself for the mistake of someone else. So I give you a very simple, fast example. You're driving, there's a car who cuts your way off, right? You have two options. Either you get very angry and upset inside, insulting the guy, maybe you want to fight, and so you in the car, your blood flow's going up, your heartbeat's going up, you're going to waste your time and have an awful day just because of that, right? Either you understand, maybe the guy have a phone call from the hospital, maybe his mother is sick, or maybe something happened to him, and then you start forgiving immediately the person for that because there's no harm done. There's no harm, so you have no reason not to be able to forgive. It's your decision. Then you forgive this person. By forgiving this person, you will protect yourself. So you will develop empathy, compassion, and love rather than anger.
Beautiful.
So there is this saying that you always have two wolves, the black wolf and the white wolf. Every decision that you make every day, you decide to feed the black wolf with anger with like stress and
Yeah.
sadness, or you decide to feed the white wolf,
Yeah.
basically, with love and compassion. So always feed the white wolf. There's nothing really sustainable into feeding the black wolf,
Yeah.
and it's much more easier to feed the black wolf.
Yeah.
Much more easier. So the real effort will be to change your mindset, try to forgive people, be compassionate, have empathy for others, but also for yourself. You don't need to be the best. You don't need to find only success.
Yeah.
It's okay to fail. It's okay to learn.
Yeah.
So have this distance also with yourself. It's okay to have a period of time when you feel like this or like that.
Yeah.
It's just about being kind. So don't be angry and try to develop kindness for yourself and kindness for others. And I really believe if everyone on a daily basis just do this 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, 1 hour, just act of kindness, it will make a huge impact on the society and maybe in the world in general.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Allaoua, for
Thank you so
joining me
much.
today. I'm sure our audience will have a lot to learn from today's discussion.
Thank you.
Thank
I hope I answer your questions.
Beautifully.
And
Yes, you
I'll
have.
see you soon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.